Transition. Why suck? Fuck that guy. Right now, it's talking about all different types of food that shouldn't be left out. It's still. If it don't be raining, bring the stuff down and drop it by your sister's place.
Is that shooting? Who the fuck? Don't tell me it's the
Maybe don't
fucking
need
Lewis
them.
again. Don't you dare destroy
That's
our
shit,
shit,
that's
you
real, that's
freaking
all she said.
two-wheel turd pipes! If I don't get those weapons, I swear I will go off the goddamn chain. I swear to God, if I hear that truck explode, I will lose every ounce of my shit! Fuck! Fuck! Fucking fuck! We needed that shit! Okay, now I'm really pissed. If these assholes want a war, we'll give it to them! Go to their clubhouse, it's right by the casino. We're gonna torch their plans like they torch ours.
It shouldn't be that hard to. I said, no, it shouldn't be that hard to do lettuce. No, it shouldn't be hard. So all I want to do is lettuce and watermelon. I can fry it like how you. But I do feel for them poor little Mexicans because it's like a ghost town around this bitch. Oh my God.
Who do you think feels sorry for you?
Yo, I fuck that. I'm just being, like I said, I'm just being, that empathy that I do have in me, that's naturally in me to feel that way.
Once you get to the
But it
clubhouse,
is what it
start
is.
sniffing
They
around.
don't need to be here
I know what they're
because
up to. Take a
You
picture of
know,
whatever
look
it
at
is.
yeah,
Planes,
because like I said
bombs,
again,
crayon
the truth,
doodle,
the truth,
fucking
it
macaroni. I
is
don't
what it is.
care.
If they
Just send
taking
it
off
to
of
me.
my tape, huh?
who you think you is. You say you used to work for churches or Popeye.
I pop by churches too. I worked all them motherfuckers.
Like what procedures for churches do? What they do?
Shit, they just sold and some they ain't like Popeye. Popeye got the red shit, the secret shit, you know. shit. I'm gonna give me some Popeye chicken and little what? I ain't lying. Yeah, you gotta laugh. I gotta laugh too. I gotta laugh too. Gotta give me some of the mystery in me. Gotta give me some of the mystery in me. Yeah, mystery in me. And I was watching a movie called, you might know it. Yeah, you know it. It's called Purge.
Color.
Purge.
Courage.
Purge. Purge. You know, purging something, killing something.
Purging. Clean.
Yeah,
Clean.
purge.
Anything about cleaning it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, and I was watching that shit there, and I said, "Oh, these dirty, funky fuckers." I see exactly what they talking about. This is actually their shit because it was showing how making people fight each other and the chaos and all the other shit. I mean, it just looked too fucking some familiar. And that's another thing. It should purging the elder and the old I mean the elder and the poor people and the no shit. If you want to purge, let's purge the motherfucking rich motherfucker. The motherfucker that want to purge us. See what I'm saying? See, that motherfucker need to be purged because that ain't nothing but the thought of these elite assholes. Because they want to be able to move around this bitch however the fuck they want. But we don't give a fuck about how they want to move around how the fuck they want. Fuck, you gotta kill us. Be able to move around how the fuck they want.
You're dead! Cocksucker.
So I'm like, what kind of person can wake up thinking about killing somebody? What kind of person is that? I feel like shit, they don't deserve to be here. I'm about Bill Gates, bitch ass.
A whiteboard, huh? These guys are so boring. Lab Rat and me will do a 4D analysis of it. We'll find something we can use. And hey, if you see anything else we can sell to cover our losses, grab it and bring it back home. More lost? Fucking roaches! Stop them!
baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, Angela,
Thinking of my chicken.
huh?
Yeah, she ain't doing too good. Yeah, I'm
I
just
hear
thinking
you
of my
You
bitching
know,
chicken.
up out there. Way to
no,
go, fresh
I just meant
meaters.
just overall, I was being you.
Yeah,
Just
that's what
checking
I'm
on
saying. Yeah, because I could tell her, I'm sorry I can't. I gotta get you help.
you. Girl,
Got a
I'm
girl.
just checking
Shit.
on you, child. We ain't talking about that
Yeah,
right now.
that got
I
good
just
to see because
meant,
every time I call her, she act that the first thing she thinking I'm gonna be talking about. I'm really talking about her health.
yeah,
That too though. Stop
no,
playing.
but,
Stop playing. But I help more. I help more. I
well,
help
I
more.
can't do shit for
I help
nobody
more.
if I'm all fucked up. So,
Yep. I help more. Because it's like
just checking on you.
it's all just
Because
checking
it
on you.
don't, you can't always be about that.
I
You know,
can't. Cause like I was telling Amber, I said sometimes some money ain't good money.
oh, my man.
Nah, cause like I said again, if you had the resources to really do like you would want to do and not have to worry about being broke, see, some money ain't good money. But if you had that money, you would know how to do
All money
good.
ain't good money.
Some money ain't good money, cause all money is good money if you know how to do good with the money that you got and getting. If you got all of it, hello, shit. It's just that the
Goodbye.
greedy funky fuckers that guys don't know how to use because they're just too fucking selfish. You got me? Because when you think about it, baby girl, the motherfucker with the most money, the one that's ruling the fucking world. And the fucker that's ruling the fucking world is ruling the bitch with an iron fucking fist because they want to what? Keep their fucking money.
So, shit.
I'm trying to tell you, if they did have the compassionate dude called Jesus or God or any of those type of characters, and them motherfuckers had some type of motherfucking power, this shit wouldn't be out of order. I'm telling you, these people see we waking up. These people they ain't taking this shit like it. I'm looking at how they making the sausage. Oh my goodness. Nah, nah, nah. I don't want no chicken.
Oh, Lord.
You gotta let her keep them crying. Shit.
Everything is bad, so hey, I ain't gonna throw. I just said that it come out of me.
Nigga, look. Yeah, you
Go
can't.
on and just
What the fuck you talking about?
whatever it is.
What the fuck you talking about? See, you ain't gonna starve. You don't eat. Shit. That's what you talking about. You ain't gonna starve.
I just said I ain't gonna eat. I'm gonna eat.
But I'm just saying,
I'm
you
gonna
don't
eat.
eat
I'm gonna
now.
do my best
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't eat now. It's talking about starving. You don't eat now, so you ain't gonna starve. No well, shit. I see you going pretty constant eating every day, eat like a motherfucking machine. Eat. Yeah, but
I
you.
do eat. I do eat.
Oh, then they showing them. They know they must know we talking about that chicken, G, because they just not showing them nuggets and what they made out of.
Yeah, that McDonald's man, they was just old a long time ago.
I'll
I
be
ain't
honest
doing
with you, McDonald's. McDonald's is a. I see why they
yeah,
call me.
I can see it, but
See, I can see why they call McDonald's fast food. But that shit is some fast, not no food. That bitch is fast. The food you. That's fast food. Fast to fool you. Look at them. Oh, them little chicken look all. Oh, them poor little chicken look all malnutrition and everything else. Yeah, lady, when they talk about do some French fries on the ground for the birds. She had to come back the next day and scoop it up.
baby,
She said she put some fries down for the birds, and she said the birds walked all around and everything. She said the next day she had to come back and sweep it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like,
The
that
stuff
should
been
take.
changed. I realize it now that I'm thinking about it. It's been changed since. It's been some years since everything changed. I'm like, I remember I told you I had dropped some cookies down in the garage,
Mm-hmm.
and I left them
No,
there
no ants.
on
No ants.
purpose. I
No
don't know
ants.
what for, but I left them there on purpose, and I was like, damn, ain't no ants. This not right.
Look. You left one there, like you said, you left it there. You left it there on purpose because that purpose
Yeah.
was so you can see exactly that purpose is
And it
what you
tripped
had to
me
see.
out. I'm saying,
Oh
oh
yeah.
my God, 'cause
Oh yeah.
somebody must have said something about it, because I was like, why would I drop the stuff and not pick it up? So I was like,
Because you want to see for yourself. And that's what I'm
I
talking about.
did.
Everything is self-explanatory. Once you realize a
I
lot of
did.
things, all you got to do is think about it. Just think about it a little bit longer, and it's going to come to you. You see, like I told you, mostly any and everything that's happening to us, all that's happening, somebody lived in pushing buttons. Just know that. You know, because Mother Nature ain't gonna do what them people show what that motherfucking water did over there where it flooded in up in Texas, girlfriend. If you see what that was, and I said it before it happened. I mean, I said it before somebody said something about it, left and put it on TV in slow motion. I said
I was looking before that.
somebody pumped water into that system. You feel what I'm saying? And come to find out they gonna live there and these motherfuckers know what they be telling on this way. It's a time for that there. They can't lie. They live there and say, good thing the dam didn't break. Right, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So what I'm seeing is what I'm logical is they got a pump where they pump their water into there. You feel what I'm saying? Because now they're saying they got some type of minerals up under there from like so they don't need them houses over there. So I'm like, ooh. I'm like, ooh. I said, please, love, that's what I call the spirit. I said, please, love, don't make it where these motherfuckers got all this shit already planned years ahead of time. Know exactly how they gonna do if a certain area get overpopulated with the people that they don't want, how to live there and change that out by letting them then locating them on their own, by letting them then flooding them out and doing all kinds of shit. Just like with New Orleans. Could it be? Really say, what you think? Don't be stupid. You know it is what you thinking it is. These motherfuckers got this shit planned and ready to live and execute these fucking plans. All because, yep, y'all waking up to me, waking y'all ass up, but a little bit too late. It ain't fun, but you gotta laugh to keep them crying. Because you can see how much people dying. And then to come to find out, we know now that the coronavirus was a biological weapon that they lived in and tested on our ass. Nah. They even got that there. They didn't live there and put that out already. Like, nah, nanny boo boo. Nah, nanny boo boo. This is what we did you. Now what you gonna do about it? And all I can do is go, I'm in a wheelchair, motherfucker, bitch. I can't do much, nothing about it, bitch. I can't much kick in your ass like I want to. I can't much move my left foot like I want to. Motherfuckers. All y'all gonna get y'all. Whoa, how much I wish I could be right there to see why it's happening to you. But I remember when I used to believe in that God and Jesus bullshit. I used to be saying to myself, boy, I love to die right now and I can go to hell just to see what you gonna do to him or her after she did that dumb shit right there that they just did. But I'm like, just to see the reaction on their face when you handle your business with that there, it's monumental because it's gonna be something that you got to get to them. That's gonna be something that's be mentally just mind blowing because what they did didn't make no sense whatsoever for a human to do another human. Put you in a motherfucking on meat grinder, then feed you to fucking people and stuff like that. That's some bad shit. But I told you, G, when you look at these movies, somebody's mind is putting this shit together.
Hey, man.
So when you looking at the mind of somebody that's putting a movie together, you got to start thinking about this bitch got money. They got power. And if they got this little story they didn't put on TV screen. Shit, they got it going in the background somewhere. Somewhere they got it going on in the background. To come to find out, like a lot of shit that you find out now about the little hunting.
It's on the street there. Shit.
I mean, so you made this time they've been doing what they're doing. The jetpack, here it is, going on Thursday.
Right. Oh, let me go. You call you back now.
All right, love. Bad.
And 70, 80 grams. Once the truffle is out of the ground, the clock is ticking. It's sort of slowly going to be growing over time.
People have learned how to farm truffles successfully.
Okay.
Why are people falling over themselves to protect Jeffrey Epstein? Because he is something of a linchpin to this matrix. And we're very clear here, guys. Everything that is happening right now is factually stupid. These people are idiots. They're a part of the club. We're not in it, but we better get wise to it pretty soon.
Recently, Kick the Songs had a podcast about how the Trump administration is covering up the Epstein story. Why the tale they're trying to sell us is totally bogus, and why the evidence they provided, including that stupid video, doesn't even withstand an ounce of scrutiny. Let's get Candace's take on this. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And this Epstein situation is just stunning. So you've got to get into these similarly hilarious explanations and excuses that we are currently receiving regarding the Epstein files, because there is a level of gaslighting that is taking place that ought to be studied. I mean, we are just this. So to see out this first clip, what's happening here earlier today, Pam Bondi is very reasonably being asked by journalists about the discrepancies between her past statements and actions, which we'll get to, regarding Jeffrey Epstein and the files, and the extraordinary news that arrived yesterday that basically no other people are going to be involved. We're not going to, there's no names. The DOJ has concluded their investigation. Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile acting all on his own. There was no organs. So let's just watch this clip, because I promise you, it is indeed amazing.
Yeah, let's watch it. I'll just say, first of all, that her words contradicted her previous words about the Epstein files, about the client list, about hours of video of, what she said was Epstein molesting kids. And we'll get this video here, but yeah, the administration can't even get on the same page amongst themselves and within what they've said on their own on this.
One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for an American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Navy Secretary was Miami Attorney Al Cross already said that he did work for an intelligence agency, but he can't resolve whether or not he did, and also you see why he was submitted to see from the jailhouse.
Yeah, it's true.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
We've talked about for years.
Yeah.
We have Texas, we have history, we have all these things. And are people still talking about this guy, this great?
Yeah, we are.
That is unbelievable.
You should believe it.
Do you want to waste the time, or do you feel like answering? I don't like answering. I mean, I can't believe you're asking me a question at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration. But you go ahead.
Yeah, Candace, her responses are perfect here. Yeah, we are talking about this. We're bringing this up. And guess who talked about this a lot in the campaign, Trump? It was you. Your promise to be transparent about the Epstein files, what we know about the case, what evidence the FBI has, who the clients were, because the way Maxwell rots away in prison for 20 years, being convicted of trafficking minors to no one, apparently. And why would Epstein kill himself if there was no evidence? This whole narrative doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know they want this story to go away because they've decided to cover it up. And these actions the last 2 days make it completely clear, and so do the responses here. So, yeah, Candace is right. We're still going to talk about this. That's the only way we'll ever get answers, is if we continue to clamor for this. And it doesn't go away like, you know, the JFK assassination did. Some of the other things that government has just completely swept under the rug in the interest of maintaining their own power and fiefdoms of power.
Sure. First, you're not going to love that. In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked the question about the reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That
Quick fact check here. She answered a question directly concerning the client list and not the file in general. So you can make the explanation that, hey, I misinterpreted your question. I was actually talking about the totality of evidence in the case and not the client list, which, by the way, she nodded her head about and said it's on my table under the directive of the president. I'll be reviewing it. But she didn't come out with any kind of correction the next day or anything. They said, hey, you know, they had asked me about the client list. I didn't mean that. I meant the file. She didn't do that at all.
what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day.
And that never should be released or see the light of day. But again, this contradicts what you said earlier, which was that you had thousands of videos of Epstein molesting kids. That's what you said. And that is a little bit different than what you're describing now. So again, this is another inconsistency. This whole tale is full of inconsistencies.
Him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. I can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide.
There was no definitive evidence of him committing suicide in whatever they released, and that minute of footage missing, that might be something of a red herring. But it is, you know, pretty absurd that that is within the video that they've had time to edit. They've decided this video is going to be massively disseminated among the public to try to convince them of their narrative here, and you're going to include a segment with that skip, and her explanation is that that happens automatically every day or something going back to 1999. But again, if you're going to try to convince people of this, this is the worst possible way to do it. You didn't give us footage from within the cell. That would help people make their own judgments as to whether he committed suicide. This is a cell block, and there's lots of information out there that this doesn't look to be the same area or cell door that we were told was Epstein's cell door in the past. There's just so many open questions here, and they're not going to give us the real answers.
And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing the minutes missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Yeah, there was no definitive evidence that he committed suicide, contrary to what she said. The only truthful thing that she said in that whole thing, as Dave Smith said yesterday, was that you're not getting any more of Jeffrey Epstein. That's it. That's all you're getting. That was the truthful thing in that.
I'm not laughing, you're laughing. There's just so much happening, there's so much to unpack. It's amazing how stupid they think we are. First and foremost, what even is that Trump filibuster? Are you guys still interested? Are you guys still interested in that? Wow, I'm shocked because we are doing both amazing things in Texas. There are devastating and amazing. What are we talking about with Jeff? That is crazy. I know. I mean, if you really want to talk about this guy, we can talk about this guy. But just so you know, we're doing some amazing and maybe some not so amazing things in Texas. Okay. Pam is taking notes. Okay, this gives me an opportunity to maybe come up with something on the spot. And what's incredible is that she refused to assert whether or not Jeffrey Epstein would go because you have the answer that yes, 14
Yes.
No, that's our not allowed to know anything else about the Epstein files. But she just like, that's unclear. We don't really know he was doing that.
No.
We don't have the ability to determine that.
Yeah, of course, they'll never say that. And, they've hinted at it before, actually, when she said that, hey, I'm looking at the Epstein files at one point, and she said, we got to consider redactions because of national security concerns. This is the track record of what Trump administration officials have said about this. But why would there be national security concerns about a sex trafficking ring if he didn't have relations with foreign governments that could be embarrassing to the United States? And you applied Occam's razor. Yeah, it does look like he worked with Mossad, or at least that's the most plausible explanation. He had direct relations, a men's relationship with Robert Maxwell, a known Mossad agent. One of his best friends was Ehud Barak, former Prime Minister of Israel and also the chief of Mossad for a time. Visited Epstein almost more than anyone, I think 30 total trips. Sagar talked about that on Tucker the other day. And he actually lived with Epstein for a time. He also inherited vast amounts of wealth from Les Wexner, who also had very direct ties with the Israeli government, and Alexander Acosta, the DA that gave him that sweetheart deal in Florida. He said blatantly, openly, this is part of it. I was told that he was intelligence and to kind of take it easy on him because he was above my pay grade. So yeah, it does look like that is a very big possibility.
And then this next part, which I want to be very clear here that I am not saying this word as a slur. I am saying this in its true denotative meaning. Pam Bondi's explanation for why a minute of the prison tape is missing is retarded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is a cognitively delayed response that she offers us there when that question is asked. Okay, why is a minute of the prison tape missing? So it's what she says back here, as a minute of the footage is missing because the prison always removes 1 minute of the footage every night, like since the 90s. Like it's daylight savings minutes, and they just got to remove a minute. And so they're just waiting for more time. They haven't had that time, by the way. That is, they just need a little more time. So that they can get the evidence from the prison for why they had the daylight savings minutes every night since the 1990s of the minutes that we would like to see maybe something happens.
Yeah, daylight savings minute, that's the right way to say it. It's so preposterous. I mean, even if you knew that was true, why would you provide that segment in the video that you share among Americans that are skeptical about this entire thing that happened for 5-6 years now? Almost 6 years. This is just so utterly absurd.
Please. You like that? Say a couple of seconds to digest that. They like just every there's always that
Daylight saves time.
all of this is slow, guys. It is just very delayed. Con retraso is in Spanish. Right? Just the explanations here are just absurd. And what is most compelling to me, by the way, about the Trump filibuster is that it requires us to be so gaslit that we completely forget that nobody made more of a show of the Jeffrey Epstein files and the release of those files than the person sitting to the right of him, Pam Bondi. That's why we're here. Pam Bondi was the one who notoriously handed out binders to a bunch of online influencers February 27th. Okay, that was supposed to be apparently phase 1. And then too many of those influencers decided to pose in like cute pics with the binders, okay? Like this, look at this influencer. Cute pic, just me with the binder. You see that? It says in red print, in case you can't see it, the Epstein Files, phase 1. And ironically, we took a look at some of those individuals. They were very new to the influencing scene, and they weren't even influencing that girl. Zionist that is currently being shoved down our mouth. They're like, you will take her. And they're desperately trying to make this girl happen. And so, at the beginning of her influencing career, she gets invited to the White House and attend an Epstein binder.
Yeah, and I think that all those influencers were strong supporters of Israel for the most part. You know, that was the prerequisite to being part of Trump's cabinet too, by the way. But she's right. We're in this situation because of Pam Bondi and how they sold this thing as if it was going to be a giant revelation that we were going to give to the American public, uniquely so in the annals of White House history, presidential history, in terms of transparency. The binder said phase 1, implying that there's going to be a phase 2, and now all of a sudden, nope, there's no phase 2, and why are you talking about Epstein? And, you know, there's no answers here. I'm going to contradict all my previous statements. No, this is a cover-up, and Candace is right to question it and laugh at it and how absurd this entire narrative is. You know, I hope this causes an awakening of Americans to realize that we are being completely gaslit on a level that is really unprecedented. This is not just some petty crime. This is a global sex trafficking ring to the highest, most influential people in power in the world. Presidents were caught up in it. The most prominent lobbyists, lawyers were caught up in it. And we still don't have answers, and we never will. This really is a slap in the face to the victims, and to pretend that the clients don't exist. This revelation is more of a signal to the clients that, hey, we're not going to do anything to touch you. That's true if you ask me.
Okay, and then she makes, a very influencing video about having that binder. Take a listen to it.
I saw you all on the internet coming to Cash Patel saying he's day 5 and we haven't gotten Epstein files. Well, I'm here outside the West Wing. Look at what we got today. The Epstein files, baby. Let's make America safe again.
And then when people pointed out the fact that this felt extraordinarily staged, and also noticing that nobody there had been critical of Israel, I don't know, kind of a big thing that we want to see if we really thought we're going to get to the heart of what's going on with Epstein, then people were accused of just being jealous that they weren't invited to Pam Bondi's binder party. And Pam Bondi, she had a binder party and you just weren't invited, that's why you're jealous. Okay? But like I said, strangely, not a single individual there had been critical of Israel in any way.
Also, the information that they received was all previously released information, and Sagar pointed out on Tucker's show yesterday that some of the documents within that binder were actually redacted, some parts of them, whereas in later cases of those documents, some of those things were unredacted. So they gave us, those influencers, I shouldn't even say us, in this grand spectacle, they gave those influencers documents that weren't even current to what already existed. It was a total sham. This was a PR stunt that didn't work. It backfired immensely.
They play all the resident suckers.
Why wouldn't it? No
That's
one's
why I can never trust these
You're giving back the
motherfuckers.
same documents we all know and making a big show of it.
Our government is a criminal organization.
Sweep it under the rug, say there was no evidence that Epstein engaged in blackmail, there was never a client list, and, just all this absurdity.
Like I said, there's so much here with the Epstein story, so much that is being hidden in plain sight. We barely scratched the surface yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein. We discussed his similarly forced biography. It reminded me of Emmanuel Macron. Same story. They told us Emmanuel Macron was a savant, and he was like Einstein. It was just amazing. He was like Bach. He was like Beethoven. And that's why he was then working for the Rothschilds, and you kind of go back and you learn that none of that was true. Exact same thing here with Epstein. He was a mathematical savant. Okay, he never had any training, and he was kind of pulled through the system. We have a lot of questions that we should be asking. And then something I should also tell you is that despite having no academic successes, as we discussed yesterday, despite Epstein having no college degree, despite him being involved in multiple fraudulent scandals, Jeffrey Epstein was given an office at Harvard University. And I want to make it clear, this was after he was convicted of sexual crimes against minors. Harvard University, that's okay. That's okay. You can still come here. You can still visit this campus. And not only that, we're going to give you your own office. So we can fact check that. Here's a CB News article here discussing that. It reads, disgrace financier Jeffrey Epstein visited Harvard University's campus more than 40 times after his 2008 sex crimes conviction and was given his own office and unfettered access to a research center that he helped establish, according to a review of his ties to the school. The review, included at the request of Harvard's president, also found that the university accepted more than $9 million from Epstein during the decade leading up to his conviction, but barred him from making further donations after that point.
Yeah, this whole thing is so ridiculous. Nothing about this man's life makes sense. He was hired as a math teacher without any math expertise, math degree. He fraternized with the young female students, surprise, surprise, but writing was on the wall there. Like, and then he was part of a hedge fund without any experience in trading and finance, hired as kind of a junior assistant to a trader, and then eventually he's made a partner just out of nowhere there.
The truth
And then
to
he's fired
love.
by billionaire
The
Les
mind is all that
who owns
matters.
Victoria's Secret and
Everybody
Abercrombie
got one.
and other
To
big
matter.
brands like that. He owns the parent company.
Love the life.
He just gives Epstein several
you
hundreds
realize
of millions of dollars, ostensibly because he was good at handling his taxes. None of this makes sense. And none of it makes sense unless you think that Epstein worked for intelligence, that there were connections there. So all this is
It's
insane.
on.
The Harvard thing after the fact is just insane too.
The
And
creator
his
within the
punishment,
creation.
by the way,
You're
in
not
that
wrong.
sweetheart deal was essentially getting a wing of the sheriff's department carved out for him
Zero
with
one.
his own custom television built for him, allowing him to go from residence to residence on work release programs. Fresh air. There really was no punishment, despite the fact that he had already committed atrocities and high crimes that, victims will never get justice for.
Amazing. Just absolutely incredible. He was given office after he was found guilty of crimes against minors. Not an issue. I'm right here. Do you want to know who else was working at Harvard at that time? Was working perhaps alongside him? Alan Dershowitz. You might know that name. Alan Dershowitz taught at Harvard from 1964 to 2013. He's a lawyer. That's a very long time to be at Harvard University, but he was one of the lawyers that was on Epstein's team that got him that reduced sentence for his crimes against minors in 2008. He was just like the mayor of the prison and making the sheriffs put on uniforms and greet his guests as he was allowed out for 12 hours a day and making them hang his TV so that he could watch it. And it is ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. No one would be treated the way this guy was. And I think there's good, ample reason for that, is that he worked for intelligence. They were protecting him. And Acosta let the mask drop for a moment and said that. And, the mainstream media just pretends that didn't happen. They're not going to bring it up. They're not going to talk about it. But we know the truth and where the evidence leads us. Follow the money. Where did the money come from, Epstein? Seek the truth. That's what we need to do. And it's pretty clear that this is a total cover-up.
And it's funny because this morning I was speaking to Xavier Broussard of the Becoming Brigitte book and the person that inspired me to the series, and we were sort of just touching upon how obvious it is. Once you begin the research and fall down the rabbit hole, you just know what you're looking for. You start to recognize these patterns. And I can tell you that I know for a fact that they are
You gotta
handing
laugh to
out
keep from
fake
crying.
credentials.
Because
I've
the
done this
truth hurts
before.
once you
I even
realize who's
understand Meghan
lying.
McCarthy story. Like, just speaking in politics, I've met people who have degrees from Stanford, from Harvard, and going, you're dumb. You are actually really stupid, and your whole brand is fake. Like, it's almost like it's performative, and they just give you a degree so you can convince others that you're smart. I see this, and I'm never convinced by it. And that is one layer of this. It is a form of credentialism. And you're going, these people, that's happening intentionally. It's like an onion of the influence that they have, right? They have these fake people in Hollywood, and they want to turn them into A-list stars so that they're influential, and you follow them, and you do whatever they say because they're leaders, they're fabulous. They have their lawyers, Alan Dershowitz, obviously.
Who, by the way, was accused by Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre for a time. I think she may have withdrawn that in 2024 or something like that. But Dershowitz has received a lot of allegations against him in this case. That's something that, again, seems to be swept under the rug by the general narrative, too.
Because they need someone when their guy does something wrong, like Jeffrey Epstein, to be able to represent him. to fight for these people that have clemency and pardons. They have their politicians. Obviously, we know what AIPAC is doing, right? We understand that they have politicians that they want to pull through the system, like Barack Obama, and they are controlling those politicians once they're in office. They have their journalists, same thing, fake credential schools that they send them to. They have their banksters who are committing the white-collar crimes, right? When billions of dollars goes missing and nobody's held accountable. And then swoops in Alan Dershowitz, nothing to see over here, right? They have their doctors, they have their teachers teaching us the history that is being wiped before our eyes. And then, of course, there is a military and a police strand of this. And that book, Chaos, that I have been imploring everybody to read, shows you that. It's like they're all connected. There are just these sort of 7 layers.
It's the deep state and propaganda machine that props this up, and basically no presidential administration's been immune to it, especially since Kennedy, I would say. And, you know, the deep state bureaucrats pull all the strings. They're the ones with the knowledge. They're not going to give that to us. Why would they give that to us? That would threaten their, you know, empire of power. That's what we're dealing with here. This is the biggest government that has ever existed. The most powerful and the most propagandistic government that's ever existed in America. You know, we're seeing the ramifications of that in the Epstein case, but that's just a small figure
Hi, what do you need?
The evils that they're capable of.
Sure, no problem.
Where they control all of the information that we are getting.
All of it.
And yeah, I would say Dershowitz is pretty obviously one of these matrix lawyers. That would be clear. I'm referring to this American matrix that's been created. It's very clear Israel is behind it. You need more proof that Dershowitz might have an interest or some other allegiance. And I can say that here because it's not Harvard University. You know, Trump's administration is making it illegal to say on Harvard University's campus. We wouldn't be able to discuss Jeffrey Epstein on Harvard University's campus without being kicked out because they're running a whole cell there. But, you know, they changed the definition of anti-Semitism. So while I can say that, yeah, it's pretty clear we've got some Israel firsters with a lot of power in our government. And it's not just the Epstein case that Dershowitz was involved in. Him, just like Epstein from Brooklyn. Despite him, Dershowitz being adamantly anti-Trump in 2016, he was somehow able to weasel his way back into the decision-making of who Trump was going to grant clemency to.
I think because he was involved in this impeachment case, right? He was one of Trump's lawyers, at least for a time. Trump was his client, at least for a time. But yeah, I'm with Candace here. There's lots of Israel firsters trying to twist, you know, the tactics of woke liberals just in favor of protecting against anti-Semitism, which they don't even equate the same way that you or I would, that, you know, it's hatred toward Jews. They mean criticism toward Israel. That's what they mean by the new term anti-Semitism that they're trying to rebrand to try to dispose of any criticism against Israel. And you're seeing that in how it relates to the Epstein case, but you're seeing it elsewhere. Certain states are rewriting their state hate laws to accommodate this, to conflate anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism, and it's absolutely absurd.
At the end of his first term. And you're not going to believe there's a common denominator in terms of who Alan Dershowitz tries to help get away with their crimes, like Epstein, okay? Here's a headline in the New York Times discussing that. It says, using connections to Trump, Dershowitz became the force in clemency grants. And it tells us that he had an outsized influence over how Mr. Trump deployed one of the most profound unilateral powers of the presidency.
Yeah, and guess who else he's asked for clemency, for Trump to pardon? Ghislaine Maxwell. What do you know? What a stunning revelation. And in a way, it almost seems like a setup for that moment to happen by saying now that there's no evidence, there's no clients at all. Well, if there's no clients at all, how did this woman get convicted? What were the jurors talking about? What did they have to weigh in their minds and their heads to make that conclusion that she belongs behind bars, albeit 20 years behind bars, which is not what these people deserve. These people deserve the book to be thrown up. And the people associated with that. But we'll never get those answers. Dershowitz wants Maxwell pardoned. He's asked Trump about that.
Including commutations to 3 people on whose behalf Alan Dershowitz personally lobbied Mr. Trump after working on their cases with Jewish prisoners' rights groups. They included 2 New York real estate investors, Mark A. Shapiro and Irving Sitzky, who had been convicted of defrauding more than 250 investors out of $23 million.
Told you, a businessman is just like a lawyer. All of them is a bunch of fucking liars. I'm sorry, but a businessman is more about business. But he don't need a legal line and lawyer to help him do his business. So we all fucked up. He in between a big old fucked up catch-22.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ugly too. When I think about it, it just don't make no sense.
Yeah.
We've been played all the way around the motherfucking board.
What do you know? The daughter of Robert Maxwell, a Mossad agent. No, he doesn't want her to get clemency. He doesn't want her to be pardoned. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. There's no Israel connection here whatsoever.
I don't know, guys. It just seems like Alan Dershowitz has a theme here. And what sort of banksters and gangsters and human traffickers?
No. Yep.
He's
all
trying to help out here.
All that.
That's all I'm saying. There's nothing to see
all
here.
That. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
Like I said again, it's because they taught us, they taught us to be fucking stupid. And we are as stupid as we're not asking none of the right questions.
That are being provided here.
And we're not getting none of the right answers because we're not asking none of the right questions.
Epstein's cell.
And this is bad. This is really bad.
So way back when Epstein committed suicide, they released a picture of his cell door. This is a picture that was given to the media. It was passed all around. I'm showing you the film from 60 Minutes. You can see up close.
I mean, it's like they shitting on us. Straight up shitting on us.
With your own eyes here. Spot what doesn't belong. Spot what the differences are here. And this is the door that we were showed way back when. And this is the door that's in the footage.
You can't make this up. They're not even trying to keep this narrative, this propaganda narrative, consistent, and it's so laughable. It's such an unfunny subject.
It's like it's shitting. They shitting on us.
What is their attempt to sell this? Like,
man, they straight shitting on us.
People don't buy this. I know.
There you go. You just say the key word.
Of course, Ben Shapiro's out there saying, "Oh yeah, you know, I buy the narrative. I have reason to trust it, and if you don't trust it, provide the evidence." Well, here's some evidence, Ben. They're not even the same cell door, or at least that's not consistent with what they previously said was the cell door in question here. So this tells us nothing. If this isn't evidence to the contrary of the tale that they're trying to spin for us, I don't know what it is.
From yesterday. You know, that's just not the same door at all. And so now they're like, oh, that's a door you go through to get to another door. Okay. So we didn't see everything. We very clearly did not see everything, and we also have a minute of the footage missing. All of this is problematic.
And not seen within the cell because, you know, the cameras malfunctioned or the guards fell asleep or whatever.
Come on, man.
On that.
Come on, man.
And then Cash Patel went on Joe Rogan and said, no, we have footage. The footage exists, and you're going to see it. I guess he means this farcical footage that no one's going to believe. I guess that's what he really meant.
Why are people falling over themselves to protect Jeffrey Epstein? Because he is something of a linchpin to this matrix, right? You really, once you start prodding this narrative, you start to understand globally what is happening, and the stakes are very high, right? This exposes everything. It exposes the military industrial complex. It exposes human trafficking. It exposes the gangsters, the banksters, the frauds. It exposes an operation on college campuses, high school level, Dalton School. And I have to say, the best way to think about it is like Harry Potter, like I said yesterday. We are the Muggles. These people are among us, and they are being brought through the system so that they always have influence over our mind. So they can publish what they want to have published. They are the teachers, the professors, the lawyers, the experts that we're supposed to.
The ones making the movies, the ones doing it.
And if you don't trust them blindly, and if you have the gall to question this, have skepticism toward it, be cynical toward it, you know, have questions, then you're a conspiracy theorist, right? Despite the fact that the evidence is plain that they're hiding this. They're hiding this, they're contradicting what they said before, they're disposing of things that you've been told before in the name of maintaining this absurd narrative that they've tried to sell, that the Biden administration's tried to sell, that the deep states tried to sell, and they're all in on it to some extent. I think we know why. People of power and prominence were involved in this thing. As clients, as associates,
Yep.
and we'll never get the answers. In fact, I hope we do someday, but I don't think it will
Man,
come
you
through
keep saying the word, the reason why we ain't
say
get
that.
shit. You keep
And
saying
you
you hope.
have to
As long
have
as you hoping,
your
you ain't
guardian
gonna get
state
shit.
to be able to override it, to be able to override this matrix they have created. You have to have common sense. And common sense is not that common. We've learned that. We saw this during COVID. Get a couple of experts to say hop on one foot and you'll be safe. Sure enough, people start hopping on one foot. We have to stop hopping on one foot and go, no. I don't care about your jargon. I don't care about your degree. What you just said was factually stupid. Remember very clearly here, guys. Everything that is happening right now is factually stupid. These people are idiots. They're part of the club. We're not in it, but we better get wise to it pretty soon. That's all I'm going to say.
Totally agreed. Well done, Candace. Great coverage of this. She has covered this story better than almost anyone else out there, no matter what else you might think of Candace. She's been darn heroic on this, if you ask me. And I alluded to the fact that I don't believe answers will ever come out of the government in this case, or in this story in general about Epstein and his dealings, whether he was part of an intelligence service, who he was trafficking minors to, who he associated with. I don't think we're going to get that through government. The only solution I think we have is to clamor about it, keep it in the news, point out the victims who will never get justice or have never gotten justice yet on this. Point that out and make noise about it. Don't let it go the way of the Kennedy assassination. And someday we might have a whistleblower from within the inside that, by great risk to him or herself, reveals the truth. Who was associated in this rank, in the government, in lobbies, in the business world. Whoever was involved, we might get revelations in the future, but it'll take a heroic soul like Julian Assange or Edward Snowden that, again, at great risk themselves, reveals this, puts themselves in personal danger. And I hope we get those answers someday. I just don't think it's going to be through this administration. The tale is too absurd.
Because it's fucked up. Because
it's supposed to just
it's like
hook, line, and sinker. And Candace was right there at the end.
It's like we thought that Trump was the one to come in here and save the day. And now, seems like Trump is on the bandwagon with the criminals now. I'm just saying. Because he should be all about exposing Epstein. Because that's one of the things that we all wanted to know about. Because of Bill Clinton. Because of Bill Gates. Because of all these prominent motherfucking men and some women, because Hillary Clinton, one of them too, they done did some things on that Epstein Island. If their name was on a flight log, we want to know about them tapes. All the videotapes. We don't need to live there and see none of the videotapes or no kitty porn. We talking about the videotapes that boy had in his whole fucking house. But he was recording people and what they were doing. That's what we want. We want them tapes. Stop playing games. Give us the tapes. Give us the name. Like now they playing games with us. All because they know we ain't got nobody we can really call them. Nobody. That's the shame right there. That we don't have nobody trustworthy that we can call them.